What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Dreams to Reality podcast. And as you can see, we're not in my studio today. We are here in the heart of London with a very, very special guest, a good friend of mine, and a music artist. There's many ways I can describe you, Shocka. What's going on? Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here and helping us out.
Thanks for having me, my guy.
Thank you. So, where do I start?
Where do you start, bro? Where are we going to go with this? It can get deep straight away. We can build in. Like, where do you want to go with it, bro?
Right, so first, there's many questions I want to ask you.
Yeah.
And normally, where I go wrong with these podcasts is I get too excited and I miss some major keys, especially leading up to where I really want to take it.
Yeah.
But can you tell people a little bit about yourself, what you do, where we are, and where'd you come from?
Right now, we're in Tottenham, the heart of Tottenham. This is actually a studio that everyone used to come to back in the day, and now my friend just bought the studio, bought the place. Now he owns it. This is where I live as well, Tottenham Broadwater Farm. I actually live like 10 minutes away from here. I haven't even said my name. I'm Shocka, by the way.
Okay, I can't introduce you earlier.
I'm Shocka, by the way. Yeah, I'm an artist, man.
So I remember it was about 6-7 years ago, maybe, when you was a part of a group called Marvell Boys.
Yeah. And
we kind of had a mutual friend. Then I checked out your music. Also, one of your best friends, somebody you do music with, Double S. Yes. I remember back when I was 15, 16, there was one famous song he did.
Day.
Yeah, From Day. Yeah. So
I've been doing this thing from...
Yeah, so I remember, and as soon as I see Marvell Boys and I seen him, I was like, oh, it made me kind of go back a little bit. But then I didn't know who you was, but then you started rhyming, and the way you started to kind of articulate yourself, the way you put words together, I think you even called yourself a wordsmith at the time. I haven't really seen that before, especially within English kind of music, I guess. So that really caught my attention to begin with. But let me ask you a question. How did you get into music, and where did you find the love for it and the hunger for it?
That's a good question. I got a friend. We all might know his song, famous song, Feed Him to the Lions. My friend Solo 45, yeah. I grew up with him, like, Broadwater Farm. I lived on 2nd floor. He lives on 4th floor. It's my childhood friend. And he started MCing first. We used to go football training. And he came into football training one day with these lyrics. I was like, what the... Can we swear on this?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
That's too much. You can't swear that.
I'm like...
Beep!
I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what's that? And he's like, this is called MCing. And I just got obsessed with it ever since then.
How old?
This is about probably 13.
Okay. Young.
We started very young. So this is 13. That's why everyone knows me for spitting in my estate. Everyone knows me for MCing. Probably football and MCing and spitting and putting words together. So I used to do this. I used to play football, and they had this thing called a presentation where every year they give out awards, whatever. So best player, top goal scorer, whatever. And then at the end, they'll have a party and they'll call someone in to perform. And they called Heartless Crew in to perform.
Okay.
Bro. And I remember climbing on the banner to try and watch them. And from that moment, I was just obsessed. I was like, I want to do that when I'm older.
Wow.
And then I've been on that journey ever since. I started recording tapes, Heat FM tapes. You probably won't know about Heat FM.
I've heard of it.
But yeah, it was a radio station that everyone used to go on. And I've just been on that journey ever since I made that decision. So I made that decision real young.
Because I guess at that time, was the English scene where it is? Well, it wasn't where it is now.
No way.
But was it still? Could it have been a career? Well, I guess Heartless were doing it. Would you say they was the first? Maybe.
They were one of the pioneers, definitely, and they was living off it as well. Remember, they was always in the islands. They're still in the islands till today. Like, there was in Ayia Napa and.
I was in a festival. I don't really go to many, but Manchester. It's a famous one that I can't remember, but yeah, they were performing then as well.
Yeah, they're still getting booked till today. Yeah. I just told you I was listening to them when I was 13.
Wow.
Heartless Crew are still getting booked today.
That's crazy.
Mad.
So, you got into music.
Yeah.
At what point did you start realizing this could be a future, not just for yourself, but maybe people? Tottenham is kind of notorious for artists.
Yeah.
Name a few people from Tottenham who are doing it, who might be on our radios today. Because there's quite a few, let's be honest.
Chipmunk.
Wretch 32.
Sway.
Yep. That's going back though.
Yeah,
Sway's going back.
There's so many, man.
Obviously Skepta as well.
How can I forget Skepta?
Loads.
There's loads.
I know your area better than you do.
So yeah, Tottenham is a home of bare stars, and it's like when I realised it can turn into an occupation, like a proper serious job, and you can make money from it and you can live your dreams. I think we all kind of realised from Chip. Big up Chip.
I still remember one of his first freestyles.
Which one?
When he was 16, I think. Was it in Tim Westwood?
Yeah.
There's another one on the street he did as well. I can't remember, but yeah.
Chip inspired all of us. People might not want to admit it. People do want to admit it. I'm open about it. Like when we saw Chip win that mobile, when we saw him lift up that mobile on our television screens, I remember me and Vertex went to his dad's house to watch the mobiles, and we wanted to see who's going to win. And we saw him go up and lift it up. Like that moment, I think that moment, everyone decided to pick up their pen and say, yo, this can take us somewhere. So he was the first person we saw.
That's a good point. So let me ask you a question. You just said a lot of people don't want to admit the influence, say, Chipmunks had.
Yeah.
Whether it's Chipmunk or whether it's something else in a different field or industry, why do people not want to give credit when credit is due? Why do you think that is a thing? Because it is. Is it because people got too much pride, too much ego?
I don't even think it's just the artist thing. I think it's a human being
That's what
thing.
I'm saying. So why is
as
that?
human beings, we just got mad ego. Like no one wants to give credit when it's due.
Why?
I've experienced it. I've even been in that position. That's how I know what I'm saying. So what we're saying is factual, because I've even had certain friends. Do you know what I'm saying? I've had certain friends. I'm like, nah, I can't, man. You know what I'm saying? But as I've grown, as you grow older and you pull back the layers and you get rid of the ego, you become more comfortable. I probably would have never said this about Chipmunk 3 years ago.
No.
Knowing our history or so, everyone knows me and Chip's gone tit for tat in the past, and we've never been the best of friends, but now we're moving past it. Like he just put on my freestyle the other day, and I said thank you, and he said it was sick. So it's a new day. So it's a proper new day. But yeah, I can admit it. I can openly admit it now with anyone that's inspired me.
I guess even say someone like Chipmunks probably would agree with you as well. There probably came a time in his life where he wouldn't have put up your freestyle. Even if he thought something was good, he probably wouldn't have put it up, because we all have egos. There's a cycle of life, I feel, we all go through and we all experience. There came a time with this. I was kind of like, kill the competition. I'm the best. If I step up on stage speaking, there's not going to be anybody better than me, because I do this every single day. But now I'm thinking, God, that was just my insecurities talking. The fact that I didn't want somebody to get booked over me or just whatever. It was just a competition thing, and I think that was led by my insecurities and kind of too much pride, because I actually knew maybe that I did have some flaws, and by not admitting that, it made me look more manly, but really it doesn't.
It doesn't,
So,
true.
How old are you? Same age as Chipmunk and stuff? Or a little bit
he's
older?
actually younger. A
little bit younger?
He's younger.
Okay,
he's 28. He's just turned 28, I think.
Okay.
He's 28, he just turned 28.
So
I'm 30. I'm going to be 31 this year.
Getting old, bro. Getting old. Not in the music industry. But let me ask you, right? So, Chipmunk influenced the game, changed things up a little bit. Obviously, you have people like Wiley, and it started to become a lot more well known. Obviously, I'm from Gloucester, Bristol, and even we was rolling around at 16, 17-year-olds, groups of us just listening to, I guess, London grime at the time. You also had people like Criminal, you had all the different people like that, and it was highly influencing the UK, I guess, and obviously Skepta's always been there as well. How did Marvell come about? Why did you decide to join a group? What was the intentions behind that? Because from the outside looking in, you guys started to build up some solid momentum. And obviously Marvell's not together now. So what was the downfall? I don't want to go into too much detail because you've spoken about it quite a lot before. But what kind of did you learn from that, and the principles you took away to come up, and a downfall which people could learn from?
You asked so many. I'm trying to...
I know, sorry.
You asked a lot. Right.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What started Marvell? Why did you...
What started Marvell? Marvell was a group before I joined it.
Okay.
So there was actually there was 4 of them already. 2 of them dropped out, and they needed another member so they can rebrand the group. Okay. I happened to be that member. I fell into the studio at the right time. I was in a group before that. I've always been in group situations, but we'll talk about this after, why me being solo now is so important, and me getting the praise and what you're saying means so much to me, because like I've always been in group situations. I've never stood by myself before, which Double and Vertex have. Like Vertex was a director before Marvel. Very acclaimed director. Directed Chips, Oopsie Daisy, directed Tinchy Strider's Mainstream Money. Then Double S was. Do you remember Mainstream Money? Then Double S was. Double S has stood on his own before, like you just mentioned, from Day when he was 15. So like him being solo now is nothing new to him. So I've always been in like group scenarios, even if I didn't want to. Like people just pull me in. Oh, you're sick. You should be joining us, you get me? So this is the first time I've actually stood alone and made a name for myself, and people are coming up to me saying, Shocks, I saw your freestyle the other day, it was fucking sick, and like, so it feels different, it feels good, it feels amazing. But I nearly never went solo, you know? I wasn't going to Talk
to me, I know we're jumping a little bit, but
I just went off into a free fall.
I think that's good, because talk to me, why was it scary going solo? Did you nearly quit?
Yeah.
Just how was that?
Basically, when Marvel broke up, I wasn't going to continue doing music, because I didn't have the 100% belief in myself, because I've never stood on my own. No. And I've never been the face. Like, Double S is the face of Marvel. Openly admit it. That's my little brother. He's fucking incredible what he does. He's always been the face, the forefront. And then I was doing my thing, obviously, but it didn't give me enough confidence to think I can step out on my own. The only thing that gave me the confidence is the purpose I found. When I knew that, oh, this is what I want to talk about, and I've got a message and I've got a story to tell and I've got something to say, that gave me like a new life and belief, made me feel like, yo, it's my turn to say something. And everything's been working out ever since. But anyway, to go back. To go back. I fell into the studio. I was in a group. That group wasn't serious anymore about music. So I had this promo that I made, and I took it to Always Recordings. I don't know if you remember Chip always screaming at Always Recordings at a point.
Can't remember.
That was the label he's under, and they had their own studio like this, and artists used to come through. And I came through with my promo, and I wanted someone to do a cover for it. Vertex used to do like artwork covers. So I gave my promo to Vertex and said, yo, this is my name, Shocka, whatever. I'm an artist. Can you do a promo? And I left in my project. I came back, and Vertex was like, that's the guy. I'm thinking, why is he pointing at me? What have I done? He's like, he left his CD with me. He's fucking sick. Yeah. And then Double and that was like, we know, because I went to school with Double. Yeah. Double was like, we know him. That's Shocka. He's from the ends. Everyone knows he spits. And then from then, Vertex has been trying to get me into Marvel. And then we went on Semtex's show, and Semtex was like, who do we have in the building? And Vertex was like, we got Marvel in the building. And then from that day, it just became official. And then we just started banging out mixtapes and just working together.
Wow. What was the height of the success you and Marvel had? So from outside looking in, the creative element of what you guys were doing and what you were producing, I don't feel got enough recognition for what you was actually doing. Yeah. Because the level of, I guess, with Vertex, I guess, the production, everything around it, when it will live forever. If you actually go back, what I did the other day, because I knew we had this interview, and you look at the level of quality which was consistently being put out, was was unbelievable. But I guess at that time it just didn't get as much credit. The
scene wasn't as advanced as it was now, and I don't think people was ready for it. Everyone says the same sentence to us every time. They say, you lot was ahead of your time. And I'm now starting to accept it. And they're right, we was ahead of our time. At the time when we was doing what we was doing, there was no group Free Black Boys like us spitting like that, doing freeway, singing in the freeway.
English boys as well.
English boys.
You know what I mean?
Free Black British English boys. Doing freeways, singing melodies in between the freeways, like In the Morning, Diamond Rings, it was doing, it was crazy. Even Marvel music, that was a whole new sound. I remember when Marvel music came out, no one knew what it was. There was like, is it grime? Is it trap? No one knew what to call it. We met Drake from early, Rihanna from early, all these people from early. Like, the mixtapes was doing crazy numbers. We was getting 20,000 downloads. I wish we sold them, by the way. I wish we sold the mixtapes and they wasn't for free, because at that time when you was going to sell yourself to record labels, they wanted actual numbers. Yes, we had the download and we had proof that our blog's breaking, but that wasn't enough for them. We want numbers.
Yeah.
So I wish we sold the mixtapes, but apart from that, yeah, man.
Because like I think with it, for me, I'm still am probably. It's kind of transitioning a little bit now, but I guess I was always a fan of American artists like DMX.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of my go-to guy, and just a few other, and the Rough Riders and stuff like that. And at that time, okay, there was Criminal, and I remember being 15, 16 when gigs come out with Talking the Hardest, loads of different things. So there was a few kind of English artists which stood out, but I was actually a fan of Marvell and what they was doing. Not many people knew about them who I was kind of around, but I could appreciate exactly what you was doing and what you was creating. And when you say you look back now, yeah, I guess you kind of were ahead of your time.
We was ahead of our time, because I know we was ahead of our time because you're listening to what we was doing then today, and it's still blowing you away. It's still blowing you away in 2000.
Forever, yeah.
So we must have been ahead of our time, because if not, you're meant to be listening to it now thinking, you know, there's certain stuff you listen to now and think, why did I like that? That was bullshit. You're still listening to it now and you're thinking, this is sick.
There's even you're trying to sell your teas on one of the videos, but it was hard.
Oh yeah, click.
Yeah. But that video is just like you three were just stood there in like a triangle, and just like even the facial expression, the level of production behind it. You don't even see it in videos nowadays. But you reached a high level of success there. The downfall,
man.
Because let's be honest, right? You've gone through a lot.
Yeah.
People might be listening and don't know who you are. Others might be fans of yours. But you had a big crash, personally.
Personally, yeah.
Talk me through the downfall, and when your big crash happened. Was it whilst the downfall? Was it before the downfall? I don't actually know.
Yeah.
Because at that time it was all very quiet.
In-house, yeah.
So
it was whilst the downfall.
Okay.
So
how do you define the downfall? What is the downfall? What would you say it is? For you at the time, how did it look like? You three was on top of your game, then all of a sudden, lads, what's going on? This don't seem to be.
The downfall is when you're not able to do what you're doing at the level that you're doing it at. So it's like we couldn't put out videos no more, no money, label disappeared, management disappeared, everything just went pear-shaped. So it's like there was like a good 6 months period when we didn't put out nothing, and we lived to create. We was literally doing music every single day. Every single day was the same thing. We meet up at Vertex's house, we plot videos, and we execute. It got to a point where we was doing none of that. And it was like, bruv, it just went pear-shaped, bro.
Talk to me. How did that knock your confidence?
It knocked all. I'm still in the process of rebuilding my confidence. I'm just getting back to that point of feeling like me again. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how much it knocked my confidence. I went to zero, like rock bottom.
Why do you think that is? Like, you personally now becoming more self-aware. Was that because you were looking for validation from other people, or the wrong things? So it took you a while to change your perception of things?
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Does that kind of make sense?
That
because
makes
I
sense,
guess when you're at the top of your game, you see other people winning. You're validated by how much money you got, the numbers, the downloads, the views on YouTube, the content you're putting out. So you're looking for validation really in all the wrong
places.
So like now, just fast forward a little bit, we go back. But I remember when you first came back to Instagram and I followed you, you would put out content and there was no way I could look at you and say you were looking for numbers. You were just being real. So then when you come to...
Because I learned. Remember you asked the question, you said, what did you learn from that whole process? And that was one of the things I learned, to do it for myself this time. I was like, if I'm going to come in as a solo artist, I'm going to do everything on my terms. We didn't do stuff on our terms. was trying to follow. That was part of the downfall, because it got to a point where we started following trends. What's this person doing?
Okay.
What's that person doing? Even when we made We Know, do you remember We Know? That song was a banger. Everyone admits it was a banger, but it wasn't what we were supposed to release. We only released that song because we felt like it would be a radio hit, or it was a song that was going to cross us over. We had bangers to release. World Is Ours should have been a single. Marvel Music should have been a single. But we thought, nah, let's play it safe. I promised myself, I said, those are the things I learned from the Marvel situation. We did everything great, but the only thing we didn't do is that we wasn't leaders enough. Do you know what I mean? We was leaders, but we never knew we was leaders, which is dangerous, because we was in that position, but we didn't understand what kind of position we had. Now, I know myself. I know, Shocks, you are leading. You've got a generation that you can talk to. You've got a voice. People listen to you speak. When you do a freestyle, when you talk about your topics, people listen to them and they apply them to their life. So I'm doing stuff on my terms this time. So if it doesn't work, I'm happy, because I know that I did it how I wanted to do it, and it didn't work. Then we was upset even more, because it's like we crawled to the industry and tried to give you a pop hit, and you still didn't take us in. Even how I look, my hair, like, I didn't even do my hair for this part. I don't care.
At least you got hair.
I'm just.
What are you laughing for? I know I'm in your area, but
I'm just doing me, like, literally, bro. Just doing me how I want to do it. Like, even my freestyles, I wake up, sometimes I don't even brush my teeth. I just do them, like, just take
smell
me
it through the camera, though, don't worry.
You can feel it. You can smell it.
No, but all jokes aside, man, that's what people like. And we're going to get into that. I don't want to jump too, I don't want to, because we're going to get into that, because there's a huge, from being so high level production to them being so raw, just literally filming on your phone, and people are messing with it a lot more than the high level production stuff, which I think I'm gonna get into that. I'm not gonna jump ahead. Okay, so the downfall, bro. Talk to me. So everything wasn't lining up. You didn't release anything for 6 months.
Release anything for months.
How was your mental space?
My mental space was deteriorating. Like, I was watching it. I was watching my mental space go. Like, at that time, I was at a point at that time where any sign of music not doing good would drive me crazy, because I was so attached to it. Like, it was just my life. Like, still is my life, but I'm more wiser, and I can detach, and I can, do you know what I mean? I understand things more. Them times, like, you can imagine, I was young. I didn't know anything about myself. I didn't know anything. I was just young, chasing this thing. So now, when you see this thing that you've been chasing for so long, remember I told you I've been spitting from 13 years old, and then you see it finally starting to happen, and then, like, you get to this point where everything just crashes and knocks back. That will fuck with anybody. That'll fuck with anybody. You have to be a strong person or be really self-aware to be able to, like, not let that mess with you. That'll fuck with anybody. So it's like, my mental state was just deteriorating. Like, I couldn't do anything, bro. I was just staying indoors. I remember, like, I got a next door neighbor called Isaac. That he's literally my next door neighbor, my brother. We've known each other from, like, kids, and if I bring this up to him now, he'll probably start laughing, but there was points where, like, he used to come to my house just to knock for me, just to check me, and he'll come into my room and it's just pitch black dark, and I'm just under the covers. And I know if we look back on that moment now, he'll be like, yo, you was really depressed, because I weren't going out, I couldn't even see the future, bro. Like, everything just deteriorated. And then another interesting thing as well around that period is, like, I was waking up spiritually as well. I was having, like, a spiritual awakening around that period. I was starting to, that was just the brink. This was like 2012. End of 2011, 2012, I felt like something was happening in the air. Like, I was starting to read more. I was learning more about things. So all these things was happening at the same time. And then I remember I went home, I come home one day, and I just reached the end of my point, bro. Reached the end of my limit. I was just screaming, I was shouting. And luckily for me, my uncle that lived in the house with me was a doctor. So when I was screaming and shouting, my mum called him and he came down and said, I know what's happening right now. We need to call the ambulance. Your son's having a breakdown right now. Because he's a doctor, so he knows. He said, your son's having an episode right now. They called the ambulance. I ended up got taken to the hospital, ended up being sectioned, spent like 5 days in there. And then, yeah, I've been on that journey ever since, bro.
So talk to me when you have your episode.
Yeah.
You've been taken in, you've been sectioned.
Yeah.
What was it like in those 5 days? Did you know something was wrong? Did it just feel normal for you? Because we all experience, and obviously nowadays mental health is a massive topic.
Yeah.
I know you do a huge amount of work around it.
Mm-hmm.
But did you know it was normal? Did it? Because I guess around that time it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Like, how was it? Like, being sat there, was you confused? Did you feel
happy.
crazy even though deep down you didn't think you was, or what? Like,
I'm so happy that period that I went, or the periods that I've been, there hasn't been no cameras. You know, like how everything's, I'm so blessed and thankful because like the breakdown I had was serious. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I was literally like running around. That could have easily made Instagram or gone viral. It wasn't about viral them times. So like, I'm just happy that my periods have been like quiet and behind closed doors. You know, like Britney Spears' moment.
Yeah.
It was one of those. So you know how they caught her smashing the cars, and so it was one of those. But I'm just happy it wasn't. But back to your question, yeah, I was just in a confused state. Like, I didn't know what was happening. I don't know if you see my other interviews when I talk about it, but I always describe it as like a lost period of my life. A period where like I was just lost. Even when people used to come visit me when I was in hospital, I never used to say, I say it in that song, where I say I never said, I just nodded. I never used to really say much. Like I was just in a lost period. I didn't know what was happening in that period.
So, how many times did you get sectioned?
3 times.
What was the longest period you was in?
Once I went for 5 days, and the other 2 was like for a month, 28 days.
Wow.
28 days, a long time.
So how do you explain that to people, or how did you at that time? Did just your real friends really know? And then
my friends are incredible. Looking back on it now, and I think about it, my friends really allowed me the room and the space to heal and get my head around everything that's going on. They didn't put no pressure on me. And I think the reason why I didn't put no pressure on me is because in my area, a couple of people has been through it as well. So it became not like a normal thing, but it was kind of happening. So like they was kind of getting their head around it. But the friends I got as well, because I can understand why people don't talk to their friends in a situation. Because the stereotypical friends that society probably thinks that everyone's got won't allow you to speak about it. They're going to laugh about it, or they're going to make you feel uncomfortable. Me and my friends bust joke about it. Like my friend Dundee, that it's his studio, this place here, he's in the other room. The day I came out of hospital and he saw me, I remember he grabbed me and he looked me in my eyes, and then he was like, yeah, Shocka's back. Just checking. And like, we was just busting joke like that. We was just bantering. So it's like, it depends what kind of friends you got, man. That's very important, because the reason why it's important what kind of friends you've got is because at the end of the day, when you come out of situations like that, you want to go back to your friends and you want everything to be normal again. So if you ain't got friends that's going to make you feel comfortable, I won't say you're fucked, but like it's going to be really difficult.
Yeah. But I guess when you reach a high level, when you reach success to some point, however you want to see it, I guess you attract fake friends on the way, fake people on the way. So
definitely.
How do you distinguish the difference, or the period of the downfall? I know we keep calling it the downfall. We'll say the period of when it just stopped for a little bit.
Yeah.
Did people just slowly just stop contacting?
That's how I knew. That's how I knew who was real, because I knew who was there I knew who was there in that period. I knew who came to see me. I can count on my hands how many people came to visit me in that period. And I can count on my hands how many people checked for me. So it's like, I knew he was real. And I know what relationships I've had for over 10 years. So it's like, I knew straight away.
So how did it affect your family life? What did your mum think about it? Do you see your dad?
I do live with my mum. I haven't seen my dad in like about 15, nearly 20 years.
Okay.
But I've spoken to him. He's kind of come back in my life at the moment. He's been calling me like randomly been calling me recently. So we've been talking. I want to see him this year. I actually want to see him this year. I put it down in my goals to go out and see him this year.
Where is he?
He was in Spain. He was in Madrid, but he's in Austria right now. But I want to see him, and we're due a chat, man. We've got
how did that relationship break down?
How did it break down?
Yeah,
he left when I was young.
Okay.
Yeah, he left when I was young. I think he got deported. I'm not sure. I should know this. It's ridiculous. I should know this, but I think he got deported when I was a kid. He used to be a boxer. He used to box in this country. My dad was a boxer, but I think he got deported when I was a kid, and ever since then we just lost contact.
Has that bothered you much?
Him getting deported?
No, just not having your dad around, not having your father figure around. Looking back now, obviously, I'm just looking because the people who watch this, the people even I work with on a day-to-day basis, really, they go through similar situations. So for me, like, I haven't seen my mum in 16 years.
Yeah.
My relationship with my dad's a bit, so, and I can now, being older, look back and actually see how it might have affected me.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
In the time, you don't realise it. I think even J. Cole says it. He said, in 4 years from now, I'll probably cry.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I was just about to say that to you. I was about to say, at the time, you don't even realise it. Like, I don't even bring his name up. I don't really care. I don't even realise it. But it's only now that I'm thinking, fuck, how would it have been if my dad was here? Maybe I would have handled situations differently, because I've never had no one instill male principles into me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've always got all my information from my mum, and what's even more fucked is that my mum's not even as well informed. So I didn't even get the best, which is not her fault. Like, her upbringing was completely, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not her fault. Her upbringing was completely different. So I haven't even got the best information from her, and my dad went around. So I know it affected me definitely in major ways. And I probably won't even know yet until I have my kids.
But do you know what the thing is with like parents and stuff? You're raised to think that your parents are perfect.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you reach a certain age where you realise that they're not, and that's not to take anything away from them, you actually realise they're just bigger kids themselves.
Yep.
So like, you think they have to go through similar situations to what you went through. They're still learning, they're still on their journey. So it's easy just to pass all this blame to them and blame and point your finger. But when you get older, you actually realise and understand they're just like me, but they're just a couple of years. And age doesn't have nothing to do with wisdom, you know?
True.
So
exactly. It's so true, man. And I made that freestyle called Forgive Your Parents on my Instagram. I don't know if you saw it.
I've seen loads of them.
Yeah. I made the freestyle called Forgive Your Parents on my Instagram. And
you check that out. Follow me as well.
CamParkerHUD. I think it's so important for that freestyle to forgive your parents. 'Cause that's a lot of problem that a lot of people have. It's problems with their parents. Like, they haven't got to the awareness that we've got to.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
They're still like blaming their parents and like.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah.
So then, good. Shocka.
Yes.
Is at the bottom.
Yes, at the bottom. Finished.
At the
no
bottom.
Confidence.
No money.
No money. No confidence. No money. No pride. Loss of identity. No Marvell. Doesn't know what he wants to do with music. If he's going to do music. Where he's going to start with music. Like, everything just taken away.
So the next step, you come out,
and then someone says, hey, listen to Kendrick Lamar's Section 80. And you listen to it, and then you find that same moment you had with Heartless Crew when you was 13.
Wow.
When you was climbing on the barrier and saying, I want to do that. And then you're listening to Section 80 and you have that same moment. The way he's perceptions of things and the way he's describing the world and the way he's connecting with you through music, you have that same moment where you're like, this is what I'm meant to be doing. I've got this exact same ability. Same way you will see a Tony Robbins and be like, I can project my voice like that too.
He's very tall.
Do you know what I mean?
He's very tall.
The same way you see him or Eric Thomas and be like, that's in me. That's why I feel like certain people gravitate to certain artists that certain artists want, is because what they've got is in you. That makes sense. I used to love Wretch as a kid. I got a friend, one of my friends in my area, can't stand Wretch's music. But it's just not for him. He just can't stand it. And I can't get my head around it. I'm like, what?
But that's fine. But I just hate when people actively go out their way to belittle something.
Yeah.
If you don't mess with someone, that's fine. But to actively go out your way and put it down.
Like, he's shit.
But let me ask you a question. There's one thing, like the London artists in general, going off topic a little bit. Do they actually understand the influence they have around the UK? So right now
Of course they do.
No, but come on. Right now we're in Tottenham.
Yeah.
London, renowned for hip hop, UK hip hop, grime, whatever you want to call it. But in every other city, people are listening to this music coming from this place. But do you actually understand your influence, or are you just all in a big bubble?
I think it's 50-50. I think the artist that's been out of London understand.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? They get it because they're like, ooh.
Do you get it? Because you wouldn't even travel to Bristol. Just saying.
Nah, stop it. Stop it. No, I get it though. You know I've been out. I've been Bristol.
It's true. You've
Like
been
I
everywhere.
probably get it. Like I've been everywhere, so I get it. But the artists that's in a bubble, that don't appreciate what they've got, is the ones that hasn't been out. So they probably they're just used to this. This is all they know. So they don't see it as anything. But I know the impact and the influence. Like I get it.
Because it's easy if you just live around the corner, it's easy to go from your house, studio, YouTube video, millions of views, on the radio, back to house, back to in the city of London, just this kind of big triangle, and it's easy, and you know you got a buzz around you, you know your following's growing, but do you really understand that 1 million people, that 10,000, 20,000, 500,000, they are real people. And obviously, leading into my next point is, even if 5 people like your video, some people are like, oh, only 5 people watch my video. Well, that's still 5 people. Put 5 people in front of you. That's still 5 people.
True.
That's still 9 likes.
What
people? 9 actual real people liking your stuff.
It's true, and that's why I love Gary V's stuff, because he always puts stuff like that into perspective. He lets you know. But I think the reason why the people don't appreciate it when they've got 5 people, because it depends what you're saying to them. If you're not saying a message of value, you don't care if you've got 5 people. You just want millions and millions. But if you're saying a message of value, like self-love to me, someone called me yesterday. Someone messaged me on Instagram yesterday and said, yo, can I get your number? I want to talk to you. I gave him my number. He phoned me.
Okay.
He phoned me.
Cut.
I gave him my number, and then he phoned me. It wasn't that easy, by the way. It was let me just clear, just in case I start getting messages.
You might as well put your phone number in your bio.
Just in case I start getting messages like, yo, Shots, give me your number. I want to talk to you now. It wasn't that easy. We was talking before that. We was having a conversation. Prior, yeah? And then it led into like, give me your number, whatever. And then he called me and he was like, yo, Shocks, like, I'm a drill guy. I listen to drill music, but I'm not going to lie to you. I bang out self-love. Like, self-love is my tune. This tune should be massive. And it's like, back in the day, probably Marvel times, I would have been so upset that self-love is not like this worldwide smash. But because I know what I put into that song and the message behind it, and I know it's timeless and it's going to live on, I'm so happy with the flipping 3,000 that is affected, or this 10,000 that's affected, because I know like they're going to spread the songs to someone else, and I know like how important that message is if they apply it, just one person. So I look at the 5 people in the same perspective that you look at it. I don't really care if I'm talking to 5 people or like 10.
Because let's put it in perspective.
Yeah.
I talk close to, say it all the time, 100,000 people a year. Back in Marvel, you did a video. Was it 3 Kings?
Yeah.
And at the end of it, you done your thing, and you said you're more powerful than you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that you don't think you are.
Mm-hmm.
And what's sad that in life, you become who you think you are.
Fact,
and then you say, I know who I am,
Yeah.
king or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how I wrap up nearly every single motivational talk
That's
I do.
crazy to
I've
me.
done that in prisons.
Yeah.
I've done that in youth detention centres. I've done that in primary schools all around the UK. Because when I heard that, I rewinded it and listened again. I was like, wow.
That's what I'm saying. And that's
at this time, I think I reached out to you. It was just one of those messages, nothing spectacular, just showing my appreciation. And then I think I sent you a picture, I think when you came out, actually, of hospital.
Yeah, that's the
and I sent you the picture and said, I think you had something on Instagram, and I don't know, if maybe it was something in the air you said about spirituality, whatever it is. Well, it told me, send this picture to Shocka.
Yeah.
And it was a picture of me talking in front of people with it in the back. I said, bro, I don't know if you know this. I know you don't really know me, you kind of through a mutual friend, but everywhere I go, I always share this. You probably didn't think much about this message. I said, this message I've shared it with literally everybody. And I just want to say thank you. I don't know where you're at right now. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then you hit me back like, bro, you don't even know what this just meant, like the power. And then I think you put the picture up on your Instagram, and you was just like, you never know the influence you're actually going to have.
Definitely.
And just that story alone, and that's why I feel like we've got connected. That's why we've stayed friends. We've been talking about, we've been looking to do this for years.
For time, yeah.
But it was just, the timing had to be right. Mm-hmm. And now, obviously, with your recent growth, I thought, he ain't even going to respond to me.
Nah, come on.
But straight away you was like, nah, come, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm trying to say is, just rambling a little bit, is I'm backing up your point that even those 5 people, 3 people, somebody might take it away. Didn't Tupac say it? So he said he might not change the world, but his words might
spark the brain.
to change the world. And I feel like that's what you've done. That's what you're doing. And that falls nicely into the next point I want to say, because you jump back on Instagram.
Yeah.
No production, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You got the camera right in front of you. And you just started talking about where your mind's at. Things you saw around you didn't like, things you disagreed with, things you loved. And you just spat quick 16 bars or whatever it was of a freestyle to the camera in 60 seconds. And people started feeling it. Why did you decide to do that? Because let's be honest, if you got ego and pride, you're probably not going to put a quick iPhone video to there where your hair's all messy.
Coming from where the person that I was.
Yeah, with your shoebox on the back of your cupboard, whatever, and you just did it and you pull it out. So this big, people might not have known about your downfall. People might not have known about your struggles. But this big artist, Shocka, comes out and just puts this freestyle out. Why? How? What made you do it?
Do you know what? Obviously, I reset in my mind. I told you there was a point in my mind where I reset, where I no longer started looking at myself as Shocka from Marvell. I started looking at myself as Shocka, new artist that no one knows about, like the Marvell. Like, it took a while to get to that point, because me and Dubs was in this Marvell bubble for ages. Like, for ages, we was like, nah, man, nah.
Yeah.
I we're meant to be out there. And it took a while for us to realize and be like, hold on, wait a minute. Marvell's over.
One of us wins, so we all win.
One of us wins, we all win. It's a new day. It's a new generation, bro. They don't know us. We got to start again. So, now knowing that, now knowing that, I knew what I wanted to talk about. Remember, I told you I went through the whole phase where I heard Kendrick Section 80 and I was like, yo, this is me. I love the way he's impacting people with his story and his message. I want to tell my story, but I didn't know how. So I was going on Twitter and I was voicing my opinion on Twitter, but like Twitter's not that impactful, and I realized I'm a visual artist. You need to see me. Like Twitter, if someone says I'm angry on Twitter, you don't know how angry they are. You're just seeing angry with explanation. I was like, you need to see me. Then I found Instagram, but I wasn't doing freestyles on Instagram yet. I was just like posting up quotes and like, as everyone starts, posting up quotes and like posting up the things you sent me, and then the Grenfell moment happened, and I felt like
which one was it when you had 2-pack changes?
That's Grenfell.
Was
that's
that
the
Grenfell?
first
See, that's
one.
funny how I literally remember it.
That's the first one. The Grenfell moment happened, and I remember everyone talking about Grenfell. Yo,
what happened at Grenfell? For people who don't know, just to reinforce.
Grenfell was a tragic situation where a fire happened in a building, and lots of people lost their lives. And it's one of the most tragic things that's happened in this country in the last.
How far is that from here?
How far? Probably about nearly an hour away.
Oh wow!
Yeah, nearly an hour away.
London's huge, man.
London's massive. Nearly an hour away, and I remember just the whole country going crazy about it, and everyone was affected by it. And then I went on Twitter, and they had Stormzy's lyrics up. Remember, Stormzy did a charity thing for Simon Cowell. Remember, they did a charity song for Grenfell. And everyone had Stormzy's lyrics up. And I was like, why have they got his lyrics up? And I read the lyrics, and I was like, oh, he took it there.
Because I remember his thing he did at the Brits, was it?
Yeah, that's after.
That was much after, though, wasn't it?
That was much after.
Why I like that is because it was kind of forgotten. Not forgotten
yeah, it
about,
was,
but
he brought it back. And everyone, and I saw his lyrics, and I was like, "Oh, Stormzy went in." And it's like, I'm not saying he's not human and he can't go in, but like, you know, Stormzy makes different kind of music. So
yeah, he started to get not disconnected.
Yeah,
but like he started to reach a high level of fame.
Yep.
So when you reach a high level of fame, people expect you to close your mouth and not use your platform.
Yep.
But instead, he used his platform as he said, if there's repercussions, there's repercussions.
I'm doing it.
I'm gonna.
So I saw Stormzy's thing. And I was like, Shocks, you're meant to be the guy that talks about these issues. Stormzy doesn't call himself I got conscious crud on. Stormzy doesn't call himself a conscious rapper or anything or talk about.
Where's us?
Next, I got you.
No, I'm joking.
Nah, I got you. Like, when I get more, I got you. Trust me.
No,
do you know what, though, yeah? And I'm going to put this on camera. I'm going to come to Bristol. See how you came for me?
Nah, you're lying.
Remember this. I'm going to come to Bristol and I'm going to give you a jumper. Remember I said that? Right. So Stormzy did that. And I was like, I'm meant to be a conscious artist. I don't throw myself in that box, but I'm meant to be an artist.
That's how you feel?
That's how I feel. I'm meant to be an artist that talks about these kind of things. So I was like, let me say what I've got to say. So I spoke from my heart. I'll never forget it. I remember it like it was yesterday. I got my phone out. No, I put it together, the lyric. I got my phone out, spoke from my heart, and I put my phone down. Cam, when I came back to my phone, this is imagine.
So did you post it?
Yeah, I posted it.
Oh, okay, you posted. How many takes?
One.
You're lying.
I think it was one.
One take.
One take.
Okay, so you did it.
Them freestyles, I don't do a lot of takes, you know. If you notice they're raw, you can hear me stumbling across a couple words. Yeah. I don't like doing a couple takes because it becomes too...
You can tell.
I do like 1-2 takes. And then I did that, put my phone down. When I came back to my phone cam, oh my God, my phone was going... This is my first ever video rapping. This is when I knew that this is something that I'm meant to be doing.
How many followers you got?
At that time, I had
couple
about...
thousand?
Probably about... 2?
Yeah, I remember.
2003?
I remember because I always watched it grow.
Yeah, I had about 2003. This is my first ever freestyle. First ever. So I knew. Now, looking back on it now, I know I'm meant to be on this path. It's special because you don't just start your career like that.
Nah.
But I put the phone down. I came back to it and my phone was going crazy. Everyone was like, yo, this is fucking sick. This is how I feel. This is exactly how I feel. This is what we need. This is better than the charity one. This is how we really wanted to do it.
F Stormzy. What are you saying?
F Stormzy.
So I thought I was going to get a cut. We're going to cut that out, make a whole video. Yo, Stormzy said. No,
that's not F Stormzy. No, that's my brother. But they was like, it's better than the charity one. This is what we want. This is how we really feel. And everyone was going crazy about it. And then I remember I woke up the next morning and I saw an ad from Gigs saying Grenfell freestyle. Peace signs, colon, he put it up. And my phone went, bruv. And this is Gigs at his peak right now.
No, this is when he was with Drake, everything.
Yeah. And I was like, yo. And my phone went bananas. And then from that moment, I knew. I was like, okay, so you're right. all that time you took out to prepare yourself and study J. Cole and study Kendrick, and you told yourself that you've got something to say too, and this is what you're meant to be doing. That moment was the validation. The fact that I did my first ever not my 10th one, or my first ever one, and it went viral. And I wasn't even trying to go viral. I didn't even know what viral was. I remember Vertex calling me from Ghana, telling me, yo, Shocks, remember how we used to always want to get signed to a label and did it? Because Vertex is like, he's really internet savvy. Like he's a flipping proper real creative. Like he does videos, so he thinks about that stuff. So Vertex called me and said, "Yo, remember how we used to always want to get to labels?" He's like, "Shocks, it's not labels anymore. It's about viral. If a song goes viral, there's an internet." And I went listen. I remember before he told me this, I wasn't listening to what he was talking about. It was going in one ear through the other. When I went viral with the Grenfell thing, he called me again. Me and Vertex talk like once every 6 months. In fact, every time he calls me, I know he's seen something. That's the only time he calls me. So he called me again and he was like, "I told you. Remember I was telling you about da-da-da-da." He was like, "I told you." He was like, "That positive energy hat you've got, keep wearing it." Because it's like, it's the perfect balance. You're talking, this is everything he was saying to me behind the scenes. He was like, "You're talking crud, but you've got a positive energy hat on. It's like the perfect balance." And he was just, I remember now listening to it now, it makes perfect sense what he's saying to me. Them times I was like, what the fuck is he... What are you on about?
Man's viral, leave me alone.
What are you on about? Positive. I'm just wearing the hat. Bro, I've had a real negative mindset at a point. I've come from hospital. Like, I know if I'm wearing this hat because my friend had it, and I was like, yo, I would love to wear that hat as a reminder. But you're telling me I weren't listening. But now it makes perfect sense what he was talking about. So he was ahead of his time again in that way. But ever since after that video, I've just been on that journey.
Did you connect with Giggs after that?
I haven't met him.
You've never met Giggs?
Never met him. I just met Semtex.
Wow.
No, I've met Semtex, but I mean, I bumped into Semtex 2 days ago because remember, Semtex messaged me and said he wants to play my freestyle on One Extra, and he played it and he commented saying your words are necessary and everything. I bumped into Semtex 2 days ago in Shoreditch at a train station.
Wow.
And he was just there, just chilling. And I said to him, "Yo, Sem, do you need to get that?"
No, that's cool.
I said, "Yo, Sem, Shocka, man, you played my Grenfell freestyle 2 years ago." He was like, "Oh, yeah, shit. And we just spoke and so. But I ain't got to see Giggs yet.
Your mind works differently, bro. I remember a freestyle you did on Charlie Sloth.
Yeah.
With Double.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was before.
That was after the first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just what you were saying, the words you were saying, the knowledge you were giving, just was unreal.
Yeah. That's another freestyle I think is going to get appreciated later too.
Oh, I just hope it doesn't get just to the bottom of YouTube because it's worth seeing. I think all your stuff, it has a message behind it, and I think now we're living in a world where that message is going to be shared a lot more.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why people like Giggs. Recently, another who reached out to you recently, who posted on their page?
Tony. Yeah, Tony Belly, yeah.
World champion boxer,
bro.
At the top of his game, probably.
Yeah. Legend.
And out of nowhere, he posted your video.
Yeah.
And I even remember seeing that, and I was buzzing for you. I was like, what? He definitely not going to respond now. So how was that like? Because I guess, and I go on your page and, okay, you got about 10,000 followers, you're verified, you're just very, very well respected within what you do. In the game, I see people with millions of followers comment on your stuff. Just probably friends, people you've known over the years. How is that? Do you compare yourself to them? Does it give you motivation? Does it
compare myself to who?
Just anyone, like people, your peers. People like, I seen a video of you talking to Stormzy. And obviously they all respect you massively.
Yeah.
Does that give you confidence that you're on the right path?
Do you know what? That helped me a lot, you know. I always say that my memory bank is what got me out of my depression.
Okay.
I did so many beautiful, successful things that when I was down and out on the brink, I wanted to die, I wanted to commit suicide, I didn't want to be here. I used to tap into those memory banks. I used to see myself performing in front of like 10,000 people at the diversity tour, and I used to be like, "Nah, Shocks, you're better than this. You did this. Remember yourself. You did. Remember, I wrote the bar, you know. You're more powerful than you think.
Yeah,
so true. I was I had to tap into that. I used to be like, nah, Shocks, you met Drake, bro, at his peak. Like, remember, you won the mixtape. So some people don't have that.
No.
So I get why they can't bounce back, because when they're trying to motivate themselves, they have nothing to proof. Sometimes you need proof. They have nothing to prove.
Yeah, but
you don't. Not everybody, bro.
No.
Not everybody. Some people naturally have it in their blood. They can just bounce back.
But sometimes that's harder. The reaching that success, what you reach, that's harder to come back from sometimes.
Nah, it helps. I see how boxers come back in because they've got their titles. Sorry, they've got their titles to look at. Does that make sense? So they can tap into that feeling of the title.
But then there's that confidence. Sorry to cut you off. I'm just trying to. But then there's that. What if I'm not as good as I was? What if people don't like me like they used to like me? Does that make sense?
You're not.
Explain. Just obviously, I'm playing devil's advocate here. So
if you've been a champion, you're not thinking, what if they like me, or what if I'm not good as I was? You've been a champion before, so you know you've got what it takes to be a champion. So you're just trying to tap your mind back into, I can be a champion again. There's not that doubt if they're gonna like you. You know what ability you've got. You've been a world champion. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like what's his name that just bounced back, man? I love his story. Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury, yeah.
He knew, like, I've been I was that guy. Like, I can do this again. And he got back up. Remember that move when he got knocked down in the
Undertaker.
The Undertaker move. Like, he's got a healthy memory bank to tap into. Some people don't have that, so I understand how difficult it can be if you don't. But I had that, and that really helped. And it does help. Like, when I see Stormzy and he sees me, yo, Shocks, and he comes up to me and that helps me. Like, I'm like, yo, like, he doesn't have to salute you. Stormzy, he was a 2-time Brit Award winner when he saw me, you know. He could have just walked past. He came up to me in the footage. He's going in his car and he's like, yo, Shocks, and he comes up to me. Those shit helps. Like, it's just like, yo, like, so that's why I take time to talk to everybody. When someone DMs me, I talk to everybody. They can't believe it. I get the same message. I get the message every single time.
Wow, I didn't think you was going to respond.
I get that every single fucking time. No way you responded. And the reason why I do that is so, just to give them that boost. You got
a fan for life now.
Yeah.
And as soon as you respond,
they
remember it.
And just to give them that boost, man, because I don't know where they at in their life. That could be the last lyric they was going to write before they quit. And then I put the fire emojis and they're like, Shocka thinks especially if they think I'm credible. They think I'm a sick artist. And I say, like Kano. Kano told me I'm fucking sick one day. I've kept that. He probably never even... It probably don't even mean nothing to him. It's just a compliment he gave out. Like, yo, you're fucking cold. I've kept that with me. Like, that's another thing in my memory bank. Like, whenever I'm feeling like, Shocks, is this lyric good enough?
He's a different level altogether as well.
That's what I'm saying.
He's another guy I look at who think he creates it for his own self.
Yeah, he does.
His fans.
Yeah, he does.
And he's very artistic the way he does things. And I feel like he does things not just to be... just for numbers.
No.
He doesn't do it just to be a celebrity. He actually just makes things for himself.
Definitely.
And I think you can see that and you have to respect that. Same as people like Wretch 32. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, it always applies, you know. If you're getting driven by your ego, your pride, you're going to get found out.
Yep.
And I think that's what might have happened with Marvell. Not saying that was the only reason, but you hit a level, say when on the downfall, say with Double as well. Double was reaching high levels of success now, and you're all doing your own thing and you're all successful. With that said, looking at you right now, you seem happy, you seem positive, and you seem like you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Is that the truth?
Yeah.
Have you been struggling? Has there been a few ups and downs the last year? Where's your head at with things? And what's the plan for the future? Deep question.
The last 2 years have been amazing. Ever since, from that Grenfell moment, a shift happened for me personally. It's just been on the up. The only difference now is that I'm not scared of the down. Because I've just been there.
You've lived in the gutter.
I've lived in there. I've lived in the trenches. So it's like, I'm not afraid of it. It's just like, all right, cool. So it's like, now I can enjoy the journey and appreciate. That's another thing I didn't do in Marvell. I didn't appreciate every step because I never thought it was going to end. Now I'm appreciating every single step. Like, I've literally got an interview every other day this month. I got one today. I got one tomorrow.
Obviously, you're going to only post this one.
And it's like, I'm appreciating.
You didn't say yes.
No, you know, I will though.
I'm joking. I'm only joking, bro.
And I will, like.
I can't be serious for longer than a minute.
And yeah, bro. So I'm appreciating every step of the way. I'm there, man. I'm there, bro.
So
I'm
why
there.
are you here, bro?
Why am I here?
Why are you here? Why? Just why didn't you, when you got sectioned? Yeah. Why didn't you take your life? What kept you? I know you said the past. You had a great memory of the past.
Oh no, but that's not what kept me though. That helped.
Okay, what did?
What kept me?
There's somebody right now watching this interview,
and I'm gonna talk to that person. I'm gonna talk to
like
you.
Who's at the bottom, who just can't see no hope.
Yeah.
What got you out of it, bro? Because there's not one thing saying that I've got depression, which is obviously fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my own. Like you got section, bro. Like
been there, yeah.
For real, been there.
For real, yeah. Been there, and this is what. Now let me zoom in. Make sure you zoom into my face so they can see me. Right. What helped me and what inspired me and the thought I used to tell myself when I was in that little room. You get this little room. You get this bathroom in a room. There's no locks in the bathroom. You can't have no locks in your room just in case you might commit suicide. You get this guy that walks past your room with this torch and he shines it in your room at like 2 a.m. to see if you're still alive, if you haven't done nothing to yourself. When I was in that place, what I used to do to help me, I told myself, Shocks, if you're going to hang in there, make sure that when you come out of that situation, you turn your life around and you become an example for people to be able to look at you and inspire them to continue. Even if they've never met you before in their life, human beings can learn just by copying from each other. I can see Cam in a Range Rover and be like, oh my God, Cam's got a Range Rover. I don't even need to talk to him. It's just motivated me enough. So there's people that's never going to meet me. There's people that's never going to meet me. All these people that watch my freestyle, they're never going to meet me. But just seeing me still standing and in my situation, it's going to inspire them. And that's exactly why I stuck to it. I hope that answers and I hope that helps someone.
Do you think you'll ever be in the position that you were in prior to that will, like, do you think you'd see it coming again?
What's that?
Yeah, so like,
whole situation.
So do you think you'll ever go back to getting sectioned? Do you think
it's possible?
What is the triggers for that?
Of course it's possible. Like,
what happens if you don't get to where you want to get to now? Would you be happy? Like,
I'm happy because
we're playing devil's advocate.
Yeah,
so
no, definitely. Yeah, of course.
I'm just fascinated by it because I just feel like there's not many people who are so open and honest as you.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a great way to pick your mind, not just for my benefit as being a friend and a fan, but also other people. You know, they might not even like your music, but still, you standing here as a young man, still being what you've been through. What would cause that?
Like, I can't sit here and lie and be like, I don't want to reach the highest heights of my career and I don't want to be this big superstar on Drake level and J. Cole level and Kendrick level. But I feel like if that doesn't happen, I will still be happy with the people that I've touched. I feel like I've affected so many lives at the moment. And I want to continue to affect millions more while I'm still breathing and while God gives me this breath. And that's what's more important to me. And if that gets me to the level I'm supposed to be at, I don't know, maybe there's people I'm supposed to affect at this level. If there's another level I'm supposed to get at to affect more people, then God will take me there. If not, then I'm not meant to be on that level. I'm at that point in my mindset. I wasn't at that point in my mindset when I was younger. I used to just be distraught. Oh my God, I'm not going to make it to the... If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I made a comeback. Shit's going well for me. Maybe this is meant to be happening. If it's not meant to happen, it's not meant to happen. I'm not mad. I'm just going to do what I'm supposed to do at every level that I'm at. And in terms of what you just said before, because you asked the question about could shit, it really could. Like, when you go through situations that I've been through, you're liable to have a relapse at any minute. At any minute. I've seen myself slip into certain situations. I'm like, oh, fuck. Do you know what I mean? Like, this could be me. But God willing, it just hasn't happened like that. But I can't sit here and say I'm never going to go back again. Obviously, I don't. Please.
No, nobody can say that, even if you've not been in that situation.
Yeah, please no. Because I've been there. That's not it. But it's like, I don't intend to. And I'll do everything I can not to. But yeah, I can't say that. But so far, so good though. So far, everything has been so good.
But I have to give you credit as well because the story, what you have, That's not a story because it's your life. Is amazing. And you just going through that is also going to touch and inspire many more people who have been in a similar situation to what you've been in. Or even if you're just going through a bit of a hard time and a difficult time. It might not even be for a long period of time, but you think, you know what? I might be moaning about something, not about having no money right now. Look at what Shocka went through. Yeah. A video could touch them at a certain time and be like, wow, like, do you know what I mean? Like, say when somebody like Tony posted up your video, I looked at the comments, I always do. And people who didn't even know you were commenting on there saying, wow, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard. And they were appreciating your music, even from afar. They might not go and download your music, but if you continue to do that, you continue to be consistent. I don't even think you touch the surface. From outside looking in, from what you've done, I'm thinking, when's he going to release something else? Self-Love was great, but I'm bored now. What's next?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the truth. That's how fast our world moves. But at the same time, and I said to you, like, yo, I watched your freestyle the other day. I need to see more of that. I missed the old Shocka where, like, you're not only do I mess with what you're saying, like the way you say it, the way you rhyme on a beat, but also what you're saying. I come away from your music feeling educated. I think I was even know that. Do you know what I mean? There's that one like I can't remember. It was on the same freestyle with Double S with Fire in the Booth. And I can't remember, you was like, my boy's a Muslim and I'm a Christian. I can't remember what you said, but it was just like, at that point, for me as well, I was quite deep into religious studies in a way. Like, I'm not religious, but it fascinates me why people get behind certain things. And the way you explained it is exactly how I thought about it. And it was just crazy because it's like, is there a God? Is there not? But just like you're playing devil's advocate and you're just putting out these ideas. You're not saying you're right, but you're sharing.
Exactly. That's it. You just put it beautifully. That's exactly what I'm doing.
You're just sharing.
Putting out different perspectives, and it's like, but I'm putting out positive perspectives.
Of course.
That's the main thing. So it's like, I'm saying, if this resonates with you, apply it, see what happens. If it doesn't work, you don't have to. Beliefs can be dropped. People drop beliefs day in every day. Once upon a time, I believed in Santa. Now, I don't want to spoil this for no kids, but
Wait, you're saying Santa's not real, bro?
And then people drop beliefs every day, so it's like I'm just putting out positive perspectives that help me. I learn new shit every day, like, and that's the beauty of the gift I've got, is that I can turn this conversation we're having now into a song. So it's like, I will read a line.
Met my man Cam. He likes to eat ham. Right, I got to get into it, bro. We're in London. And even the area I'm from, it's a big thing, right? People wouldn't expect it, but it just doesn't just happen here. I need to bring it up. Knife crime.
Yes. Knife crime is at all-time high over here in London.
Everywhere. Murder. Deep. I know we're laughing, but I need to talk about it because I go into schools everywhere. Why is the sudden increase? Because for me, it's heartbreaking when I go into schools and I talk and I work with people, and people just don't appreciate the value of life, and there just seems like there's no aspirations out there. There's a glass ceiling on people, like they feel like they can't smash through it. So the only alternative is that. Being on the street, selling drug, gangs, whatever. It might not even be anything to do with that. Could even be being in the wrong place at the wrong time, just fighting. Not just all of it comes into one. Have you been around much of it? What do you think about it? Is there a solution? I don't know. Like I still, everyone I talk to, we just don't know what the solution is, what it is, but. Like, I don't know. I just need to talk about it. And from your music, what you talk about. I know you've done something with a drill artist recently. Yes. And you even say now as an older young man, you're trying to understand it yourself. Because, okay, back in our day, well, when I was 16, 17, knives started to become the thing then. It was around that age. But then before that, you just fight with your hand. I think Black the Ripper said it. He said, drop your knife and punch me in the face if you're that hard. Do you know what I'm saying? Something like that. Do you know what I mean? And it's so like, but what do you think to it all? I'm just rambling, but I'm just fascinated with what your opinion is of it.
I've been around it my whole life. I've been hearing people get stabbed and friends, close friends, and I feel like the solution is a bit tricky because it's like it's the environment that plays the major part it's this environment that they're in, that they feel trapped in, and everyone's like snaking each other, and it's so small, and everyone's angry. If you got to take them out of this environment. It's like, I always use Giggs as an example, and I know if Giggs sees one of my interviews, he's going to think, why does this kid always use him as an example? But the reason why I use him as an example is because like he's probably one of the hardest street dudes we've had in a long time, and it's like we've watched him just shift his whole life around by leaving that area and making money, and now he's making songs like Lockdown, man, I got these bitches on lock, like better, happier. Do you know what I mean? Not saying he still ain't got the crowd, it's always going to be in him because he's from there, but he's balancing it out now and he's making better songs. So I feel like, and I'm just watching how did that happen for him, and how that happened is when he started getting money and he found something positive to do and he came out of the environment. So I'm thinking, okay, if that's what happened for him, that's what's going to happen for the rest of these youths. They need to find purpose. They need to find something that's going to keep their mind occupied, because I realise most of the times when these kids fall astray is when they're idle, when they're not doing anything. Then they get that phone call, yo bro, do you want to come in this move? No, I'm writing a song. Do you know what I'm saying? That's how your purpose can counteract that phone call. But if you don't have that, you're going to end up going in that move and you end up in jail. We talk to most of the kids in jail. They're in jail because of stuff like that. One phone call, you know, that they got from their friend saying, I beg you follow me here. And they fell into that thing. Yeah. So if I can encourage kids to find their purpose, no matter how stupid it sounds, because sometimes, like coming from African households, our parents can make the thing that we want to do sound small, so it makes us throw it away. You might tell them I want to be a tailor, and they'll be like, son, be a doctor, tailor don't make no money. And they've just killed that dream. Whereas like, bro, I follow the Guinness Book of World Record on Instagram, and like I see the sort of shit I see them getting world records for, and I'm like, bro,
we should do the longest interview.
Bro, I'm like, that's your gift. Not in a disrespectful way, but it blows my mind. I'm like, yo, like you actually believed in that. Like you've got a home from that. Like after you do this thing that you're doing, you're going somewhere to sleep. That is paying that thing that you just did with your toes. It's paying for it. So it's like we gotta like install in these kids like, yo, no matter how stupid or silly it sounds, if you're fucking good at it, yeah, you can get paid from it. So it's like I can't wait to start going to schools and talking to these kids and like showing them new perspectives, because that's all they need. All it takes is another perspective to look at things from. That's probably what happened to Giggs. Giggs saw a road man. Giggs said Mega Man spoke to him. I don't know if you saw his interviews, but he said Mega Man sat down with him and said, yo, like you're worth more. And that's all it takes is someone from your shoes that sees something a bit different to you to enlighten you a bit, and you're on your way. So if I can see these kids and tell them, yo, like if you just look at that thing you're doing like this, but apart from, until we're going to do that, it's never going to change.
That's deep, bro.
So that's my perspective on it.
That's deep. And do you feel like music plays a big part?
Yeah, of course.
Because obviously music, hip hop, it gets a bad rap for a bad name, and it says it influences younger people to go out and do stuff. And I don't feel like that's entirely true, but I kind of do. I can see why it might make a difference. Because I remember when we used to roll out, be honest, there's 20, 30 of us. And at this point, go back to gigs when Talking the Hardest come out and that whole album, and even like Walk in the Park, at that point, we were out thinking, and it was influencing us.
Yeah, that's what I said it does, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then I guess at the same time, you can't put the blame on someone like Giggs because he's only talking about his experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like it's a vicious it's like a circle, isn't it? It's because it influences you, but then you're not gonna rap about Mary Poppins, are you? Because that's not your life.
Exactly.
Does that kind of make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
So, question.
Yeah.
I think it's 3. Is it 3 or 5? 5 people. 3 people. You could sit down with 3 people, dead or alive. It could be anyone, famous, not famous.
Fucking hell.
3. I feel like you need 10 no, but.
Oh, man.
Sorry, we don't have to go back to Bristol anytime soon. It's fine.
3 people.
3 people. I don't feel like you could have both, but if you could have Kendrick or J. Cole, who would you?
That's in there. You know that's in
there. No, but you can't have both. If you could have one of them.
Kendrick is like me in a way where he's kind of introverted. Unless you get him in a situation like this, he's not really going to speak. Like, I've watched his interviews enough for them to know that, like, he's a proper thinker. Like, he's like me. Like, if we're in a room and I'll just be quiet until you talk. I'm a person where you got to talk to me, and I start pouring out, and you're like, fucking hell, where did that come from? But before that, I'm quiet. But J. Cole, on the other hand, he's actually, I've seen, like, his interviews are incredible. He's like
a thinker.
He's a talker as
like
well.
The one he did with Angie Martinez.
Yeah.
Not the most recent one. The one he did in the studio.
Yeah.
Was it after Forest Hill Drives?
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah.
Or no, it was the other one.
No, after KOD. Is it after? No, not KOD.
The one with I want to fold close with.
Oh, For Your Eyes Only.
For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah. Probably Cole. I'll probably out of Kendrick and Cole. I'll probably sit down with Cole though, because Cole seemed like I'll learn so
more,
much.
yeah.
I'll get more out of Cole. I'll sit down with Cole, and then 2 more. I'll sit down with Pac, and I'll sit down with Bob Marley. Them 3.
Oh, that's a solid lineup.
Yeah,
that's a solid lineup. Okay, man. With that said, I don't know if do you have any more questions. Okay, so for everybody who didn't hear that, so if you're starting a small business, you're going after a goal or dream, at what point did it essentially become real in a way? At what point you could have started earning money from it?
I still live with my mum, so I've been lucky.
Shout out to Mumsy.
Shout out to Mumsy for giving me the freedom. Fuck, I think about it, like, if I never had the freedom, I might have given up a long time ago. Think about all the pressure that I had and going through. It's like I was like shelled. It's like I was cocooned away.
I think I know your answer already, but
help.
Did she ever tell you to, like, come on, Shocka, sort your shit out?
Of course she did.
Go get a job. Or...
Of course, all of that. But she still gave me the freedom to, like, do what I want to do, so it kind of helped. But, like, I've back to his question there. I've always been blessed to be in situations where I've had people fund my stuff for me, and people don't have that, so they have to get jobs to fund it. I've always been in situations where, like, Risky Rose is paying for my stuff, or like now I just got signed. I got signed last year, so now. Woo! Yeah, I got signed last year, so now I don't have to worry about paying for videos or, like, campaigns or, like, all of that sorted.
So surely you should be putting out stuff now. I've been waiting. Come on.
I will be.
Come on. I will is not here now.
No, but when you're signed, you know how it goes. It's not like that. I can't just release tomorrow like I do. No. That's why the freestyles are still under my control, so I can do that. I wish I could release music. Was that in the contract though? What, the freestyles? Yeah. Of course not. I'm not signing nothing to do with nothing with freestyles unless you're going to pay me.
So how'd you get verified then, bro?
My label sorted it out.
Name?
What, for the label?
I'm joking.
No, my label sorted it out. It was like, right, we're going to get verified. You're going to get... And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. And then I checked. No, someone...
It makes a difference, though. How sad is the world we live in? Like, a blue tick next to your name.
Someone messaged me, Cam, and said, yo, bro, I didn't see your verified tick yesterday. I didn't know you're verified. I was like, what? I went on my page and I saw the verified and I was like, people really check this. Like,
how long you been stalking me for?
How long you been flipping? No. It's like, yo, bro, just to ask, like, you weren't verified yesterday, but now you are. How did you... Was that
the same person you gave his number to?
Nah. Nah. But yeah. So I don't know what point. I think usually the point people start making money is when they get, like, a machine behind them. So, like, at signing point. That's usually the point. So a painter, I don't know what a painter is.
Yeah.
I don't know who endorses the painter, but if he starts working for I don't know. I don't know. But as for an artist, usually when they start reaching the point where they can fund stuff now is when they get signed. So yeah. So I can only speak for artists. I don't know about painters or what other people. I just know for artists, usually when they get their deal is when they start getting a bit of money. Or when you get a hit. If you're an artist, when you get a hit is when you start.
Because sometimes hits come from nowhere, don't they?
Yeah.
But I'm a true believer in, okay, there might be a few people who this doesn't. There might be a few people, this might not be the same case, but I feel like it takes 10 years to become an overnight success, you know? So, for example, when I was talking, you talked about Eric Thomas.
Yeah.
And at this point, Eric Thomas wasn't who Eric Thomas was, but he's as good as a speaker. His knowledge was there. And he was putting in the work consistently over and over. And because of that, just like kind of some of your videos, somebody caught onto his video, Giovanni Ruffin put it on his video on the beach with his top off, basically running around, and then all of a sudden Eric Thomas become an overnight success. But what people didn't realize is he's in his 40s at this point, but he's been grinding for 20, 15 years or whatever it is. So I feel like everything is slightly different, and you just have to keep going because there's so many opportunities along the way. And me and Gadgetline talk about it a lot, and just like yourself, there is many opportunities along the way where you can quit. It'd be easier to quit, but it's the ones who are consistent, the ones who continue, are the ones who, in my opinion, win.
It's true.
Which is fascinating. It's amazing. Can you reveal, with that said, any secrets? Anybody you're going to be working with? Oh, that one you did with Double, actually. It took me back a little bit. It was a couple of years ago now.
Practice hours?
Potentially, yeah. It looked like you was in a car park somewhere, I think, and you was like walking outside the car, and it was just fast paced, and you were switching from one person to the next.
One take.
That was hard. I don't know, but whatever it was hard. Can we expect more with you and Double, or do you make a conscious decision of trying to separate?
The way I collaborate now is different.
Do you try and separate yourself because you don't want to just be seen as basically together?
Double and Shocks?
Yeah.
Nah.
Or does that help boost up the numbers, because that's what sometimes people want to see? Well, I would love to see you on, like, I don't know.
It's got to be the right song now. That's how I operate now. Now it's got to be the right song. Like, I remember I used to always watch interviews of Kendrick, and he used to talk about how he puts, his team, J-Rock, Absol, and Schoolboy Q.
That J-Rock's album, new one.
Fucking incredible. He won a Grammy yesterday,
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he
I didn't
won.
realise.
Win. He won, bro.
Everybody else.
He won.
I played that for Gadgetline, I think. Didn't I play that for you? He was not impressed.
He won. He won a Grammy. So, like, what was I saying? Yeah, he talks about, because they're like, how comes the whole of Black Hippie's not in the albums? And he's like, sometimes they don't make sense for the songs. So that's how I feel. Like, if Double makes sense for the song, I'll fling him on. If he doesn't, then I'll easily do the project.
Don't push it, yeah.
I
but you feel pressure for putting, because there's people who don't have the same following than you.
Yeah.
Do you get people who reach out to you and be like, oh, let me jump on, bro?
The
same way, it's hard, because the same way you might reach out to somebody is the same somebody.
That's why I get it.
But, like, what do you do? Like, I had it with the podcast.
Yeah.
And people like, if you're looking for extra guests on the podcast, then I'll be happy to talk about nothing. Like, in my head, I'm like...
That's how I feel,
in my head, it's hard because it's
that
like,
happens all the time.
To be fair, sometimes it's an easy decision. Be like, bro, you aren't supporting me at all.
Yeah.
So don't try and jump on my wave now.
Yeah.
And I want to interview people who's got a story, and obviously the podcast is Dreams to Reality podcast.
Yeah.
Everyone might not be where they want to be like us, but it's about the story and about going after it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you deal with that?
When
someone like, yo, Shocks,
I know,
let me jump on a feature,
but it's got to make sense for what I'm doing.
Pass me your number.
Yeah, nah, bro. Yeah, actually, that's happened. The numbers get passed sometimes, but as you've seen.
Yeah.
But it's got to make sense for what I'm doing, though, Cam. If it don't make sense for what I'm doing, I can't.
So do you have intentions and outcomes for everything you do now? Where before you might not have, but you know the direction you'll go in.
Exactly,
you know how you need to get there. Yeah. So every decision you make now, you got intentions behind it, and you got a specific outcome you are looking for.
Facts. Exactly that. Everything. So this podcast, I'm like, this makes sense. Another chance to get the story out. Another chance. Maybe I can touch and inspire someone through his podcast in Bristol that never heard of me before. It might be one or two. That makes sense. So everything makes sense. And that comes with knowing who you are and what you want to do.
I think, but then also a part of this, I feel like, let's be real, you're much bigger than what I am. So a part of this was a friendship kind of decision, because but you've seen me grinding for so long, and I've stayed consistent with my message for so long.
Exactly.
So it's when people reach out to you after 2 weeks, I've just started making music. It doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work like that.
Every single guest,
please let them know, Cam.
Yeah, but it's true. But the main guest I have on my podcast are people who are more well known than I am. Mm-hmm. But the reason why they mess with me is because they see that I'm consistent.
Yep.
Does that make sense? So, like, right now, you might not get much out of it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm going to remember it. You've inspired me. And just the work rate and going after something bigger than us inspires each other. And I think that's the bigger point behind it, I think.
And I never know who you might become.
Oh, I've had this
I've had this.
I know you're
I've
not going to become massive.
I've stumbled across so many stars. And I always think, fuck.
I just took their number.
I didn't even have a clue. So it's like now, I if I got a gauge that I like you for some sort of reason, I'll do it. Like Jay House, I filmed his Daily Duppy. And I remember looking at him through the camera like, this guy's a star. But I won't even, that's about it. That's all I thought. It's just like, because the way he switched it on, he was quiet. And then his friend had his phone, the beat on his phone. And we was like, yeah, we're ready for it. He's like, you ready, yeah? And he switched on. And I was like, what the fuck is happening here? Never seen anything like that. And he blew. And it's like, even Hardy Caprio. Me and Double went to their uni 2 years ago. They was having a little party in their uni. And we went to their uni and he saw us and he was like, oh my God, what are you doing here? We're like, I would come for a party. He was like, can I MC to you? And he was like, yeah, sure. He spat to us and he was like, bro, I'm going to be big. I'm going to be the next Kane. I was just looking at him thinking, you've got a lot of confidence. And then, fam, lo and behold, 2 years later, Unsigned dropped 15 million views. I saw him the other day and I was like, do you remember what you said to me? And he was like, oh, I was drunk, man, don't remind me. I was like, nah, bro, you spoke the truth. Do you remember everything you said?
You said you was going to give me 10% of everything you make. No, but it's true. Like,
so it's like, I've stumbled across so many, man. I stumbled across so many. So you just never know.
You just never know. But also for people there, if you want to reach out to people like Shocka, the thing that I've learned is,
put your groundwork
one
in,
is
man.
consistent. Yeah, like it's consistent. You can't expect one Instagram message to blow and expect I send messages to everybody, probably similar to how you do. I don't expect one response.
Yeah.
I don't expect it.
It's true.
But then I follow up again. I send another message. If they don't get, I think the last one was Jamal Edwards. So I haven't reached out to Jamal for ages. And I think last time we had a conversation about him, I said, bro, can you shoot him just a text message or whatever and say I'm about? At that point, I knew nothing was going to happen.
Yeah.
But as soon as I seen him check out my Instagram stories, I was like, okay, he's on my page. Got his attention a little bit. LinkedIn. Nobody uses LinkedIn like that. I know he's on it. Shoot him a message. He responded. At that time, you know he's just playing off like, you're not on the level yet, bro. But in my head, I don't see that as a negative thing. I'm like, I've got your attention. I need to come back in a year, 2 years from now. I'm going to follow you up and show you that I'm still on the same thing I was on 2 years ago. And I'm going to make it happen. You don't know it yet, but we're going to make it happen.
Yep.
And I feel like that's what you've done, and people just start thriving around you. That's why Giggs is showing you love. That's why Tony is showing you love, because you're real and you're consistent. And bro, literally, the future is so bright for you, man.
Thank you, appreciate it.
With that said, where can people find your number?
What?
Where can people find you, bro?
If you want to find my number, DM me on Instagram. Just say Shocks. Give me a number. Let me know I'm playing. But now you can find me on Instagram, Shocka_artist. Find me on Twitter, Shocka_artist. Find me on Facebook, Shocka Kenneth. That's me.
Perfect. Once again, guys, I just want to say a massive thank you for tuning in, listening on iTunes, also on YouTube. You know what you have to do. I feel like we could probably go on for hours.
Yeah, we probably could.
But
what was that, an hour? Surely.
I don't know. Hour and a half.
Fuck
There's anything you want to say, drop it in the comments. He said he's going to come to Bristol. We have to do a part 2, 100%. But once again, thank you. Show some love. Like this video. Comment. And also share. And hit that big red button and subscribe. Because we're going to bring so much more content your way. My name's Cameron. Dreams to Reality Podcast. And until next time, peace.